If you're new to Amazon KDP, you probably hear the word keywords thrown around an awful lot and probably a little bit confused about exactly what it means. So in this video, I'm going to take you through step by step everything that you need to know as a beginner to smash your KDP keyword research and give you a full understanding of exactly what they are and what they do for your books. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Apologies for my kind of little bit of inconsistency in terms of uploading. I actually broke my phone, which for those of you that follow me on Twitter will already know, bit annoying because I actually use my phone to record all of my YouTube videos. But long story short, that's all sorted now and we can actually get back into the proper content that you're all interested in. So in this video, I'm going to take you through Amazon KDP keywords for beginners. So it's going to be a complete beginner's guide to understanding keywords on Amazon KDP. I did one of these for Amazon ads, so I'll leave a link to that down in the description below if you want to go ahead and watch that. And the goal of this video is if you're completely brand new to KDP or you've been doing KDP for a little bit of time and still don't know loads of things about keywords, hopefully by the end of this video you have everything that you need to know about keywords to optimize your book listings and make more sales with Amazon KDP. So I will jump straight into this now. This might be a little bit more of a longer video, but obviously there's a lot of content in there, so obviously be patient, work your way through, and obviously take notes if you feel like you need to. So in terms of the video breakdown, how we're going to structure this video, we're going to go into 4 different sections here. So the first one is going to be keyword basics. I'm just going to explain a little bit more about what a keyword actually is and the role that keywords play in the whole KDP process. So I'm going to assume some people watching this video literally are completely brand new to KDP and don't know anything about keywords. So we are going to start very foundational level and obviously work our way up. So if you do already have a bit of a knowledge about keywords, don't think this isn't useful for you because there may be some bits that you kind of do already know, but there is a lot of value that you won't know, hopefully in this video. So do stick around and watch the entire thing. We're then going to move on to long versus short tail and explain the difference between the two. So a long tail keyword versus a short tail keyword, and also why both are super important for your KDP upload process. Thirdly, we're going to look at actually entering your keywords. This is really strategic and where you actually place your keywords in your book listing and how you can use them to optimize your book listing and your book title for overall SEO success. So for those of you that don't know what SEO is, it stands for search engine optimization. It's essentially how you can rank your book higher up Amazon's search results, and that's kind of where all the keywords come into play. And finally, we're going to be going into the actual detail of how you actually go about finding these keywords, what pieces of softwares you can use, and kind of what metrics to look out for when you're doing your keyword research. So I hope that makes a lot of sense and a very structured way of going through this video. So we're going to start with section number 1, keyword basics, explanation of what a keyword is and the role keywords play in the KDP process. And at this point, I want to jump in. If you are looking for kind of a more advanced, more in-depth level of this kind of understanding, then I do have 2 online KDP courses for you to check out. I have a beginner course, which is £29.99. Really good place to start if you're brand new to KDP. We go into a bit more depth than we're going to cover in this video and loads of different processes along the KDP kind of upload journey. So do check that out if you are a beginner and you want to kind of accelerate your growth with Amazon KDP. But for now, I'm just going to go through this keyword beginner's guide, and if you do want to go ahead and kind of advance your knowledge even more, then you can check that out in the description below and also in the comments. So first of all, what is a keyword? So keywords are specifically all about book discovery. So in short, a keyword is simply just a word or a phrase associated with your book that Amazon will basically use, Amazon and yourself will use to allow customers to find your books. So for example, the phrase coloring book for girls aged 5 is a keyword. It's a certain phrase that people are going to search into the Amazon search bar and that you might associate with your book. And like I said, it's basically how Amazon knows what to show when a customer searches for something. So if a customer searches for coloring book for girls aged 5, it's going to look at all of the products, books included, that have kind of these keywords in their title, their subtitle, their back-end keyword boxes. So keywords are all about allowing your book to be discovered. So you have to rank for certain keywords to allow your book to be seen by potential customers. Like I said, Amazon will look at the search terms that customers are putting in and then link it to products. So you want to make sure you have the right keywords associated with your book so that you can find relevant customers who are actually looking for it. So that's basically what a keyword is and kind of the role it plays in KDP. So where do keywords fit into the entire publishing process? So this is actually a little bit of a very quick snapshot of my upload process and how I kind of work my way through the stages of Amazon KDP. Again, if you're brand new to this might be a little bit confusing, but it does make a lot of sense. It's very simple to understand. So first of all, I will start with niche research. I'll then move on to my keyword research second, and then only at this point will I then start creating my book. So a lot of people actually create a book first and then do the kind of keyword research and maybe some sort of niche research afterwards, which wouldn't make a lot of sense to me. Then they do their book listing, and then I'll do my Amazon ads. This is kind of the way I go. And as you can see, keyword research alongside niche research actually comes before book creation. So when you hear on KDP, you're creating books on Amazon, you kind of assume that you make the book first. That's the main thing. For me, the value actually isn't in the book creation. The value is in this keyword research and this niche research. And I'll explain why in just a second. And the main reason why is you don't want to publish a book and then realize that there is absolutely no way to market it, / all the keywords are saturated. The last thing you want is just to have this book and you think, okay, well, who am I going to market this to? How am I actually going to get it to customers? Because that makes no sense. It makes a lot more sense to kind of reverse the steps, make sure there is definitely a market for it and that people are actually searching for this book. So this is why your niche research and your keyword research should come before any sort of book creation process. So this video is about keywords, but I'm just going to touch on niche research for now to understand the difference between the two. So in kind of layman's terms, niche research is just making sure that a potential book that you want to make actually has demand for it. So are there similar books doing well to this kind of concept that you've got in your head? If they are doing well, then it just shows that customers are actually after this book. On the flip side, keyword research isn't necessarily about if customers are after your book. Once we know that those customers are after our potential book, the next step is allowing them to be able to find your book. So that's all about what keyword research is. So like I say, book discovery. So niche research, in simple terms, making sure people actually want your book. Keyword research, making sure the people that do want your book are able to find it. And that's the main difference between the two, and why I'm making sure both of those two checkboxes are ticked before you go into any sort of book creation is super, super important. So if you do want me to go into a lot more detail on niche research in a future video, let me know in the comments down below and I will happily do that. Or like I say, I have so much in-depth content on both of my KDP courses if you do want to check those out already. So with that in mind, we kind of understand what a keyword is and why it's important to the publishing process. It's important to also know what makes a good keyword. So I can come in this video and say, oh yeah, it's good that you need to make sure you have good keywords and good keyword research. But what does that actually mean for someone that doesn't know much about keywords? Well, the main thing here is that it's all about just balancing demand and competition. I did make another keyword video a couple of weeks ago. Again, I will leave a link to that down in the description below. So I won't go into too much detail in this slide because I covered it all in that video. But the main goal of keyword research in a hypothetical world is just to find keywords that so many customers are searching for and hardly anyone else is using. So all you're doing is using all that traffic that people are looking for, and you're just taking out all those search terms and you're going to rank well for those keywords. In reality, it's very unrealistic to find keywords that loads of people are searching for and none of your competitors are using, because naturally all the ones where people are searching for, everyone's already aware of them, and so there's usually quite high competition with these really high in-demand keywords. So let's just say, for example, colouring book for boys. There are thousands and thousands of searches for this every single day. And because of that, there are so many books that also rank for that, because everybody knows that that's a good keyword to use. So although there's really high demand, there's also loads of competition. So the key with keyword research is just to find a balance between the two. There has to be some sort of trade-off if you want to be successful. So like I said, this balance is super, super important. So that's a very brief intro to keywords, and I'm going to move on to a little bit more depth and talk about long tail versus short tail keywords, the difference between the two and why they are both important. So quite a simple thing to get your head around. Long tail is obviously longer form keywords, short tail, shorter keywords. So in terms of long tail keywords, these are basically specific sentences or phrases that a customer will search into the Amazon search bar. These are usually extremely relevant to the book that you're publishing, because if you think, the more kind of words they put in, the more specific their search is going to be. So a long tail keyword might be something like cute pattern colouring book for girls. And these typically make sense when they're reading them out loud, because they're sentences, they kind of make sense when you read them out loud. On the flip side, short tail keywords, obviously by their name, a lot shorter, and these are much broader phrases that are typically less relevant to your book. And because of this, that's meant to say this, not these, they are very hard to rank for. So for example, colouring book girl. This is a much broader phrase. It doesn't actually make sense on its own. And because this is kind of related to so many different books, it's going to be much less specific to maybe a certain type of book. So these typically don't make sense when reading them out loud, because it's kind of how you search into an Amazon search bar. We're kind of very robotic when we search for things on things like Google or Amazon. We don't necessarily type in the way that we maybe communicate with someone. So colouring book girl is, you wouldn't say that to someone in real life, but that may be something you search into Amazon. So a lot of short tail keywords are extremely broad, which means you have a really good reach. but they are much harder to rank for. So there's definitely a difference between long and short tail. Naturally, long tail keywords are going to be much longer and therefore a lot more specific. So that trade-off that I mentioned, what's the best thing to use, short tail or long tail keywords? A lot of people ask me this question every single day on Twitter. Essentially, long tails are, like I said, naturally a lot more targeted, and therefore ranking for them is easier because the more targeted they are, the more granular, the less competition naturally there is going to be. However, because they're so specific, they only target a really small certain kind of section of Amazon. In contrast, because they are extremely broad, short tail keywords are have a much greater reach because they're very broad and loads of different products relate to them, but because of that, they are much harder to rank for. So which is the best one to choose? So it's all about finding a trade-off. So I just created this quick graph. On the left-hand side, you can see basically a ranking, so how easy it is to rank for a certain keyword, and the bottom, how easy it is to reach a greater number of people. So the greater your book reach, the greater number of people you're going to reach with your keyword. And in terms of long tail versus short tail keywords, it's all about finding a balance between the two. So long tail keywords, generally you're going to rank a lot higher for a long tail keyword because, like I say, they're much more specific. But because they're specific, there's going to be a much smaller book reach because only a certain number of people are going to be searching for these keywords. In contrast, short tail, they're going to have a much greater book reach. If you think about the phrase coloring book for boys, how many people search that into Amazon compared to something like cute coloring pattern book for girls aged 5 to 6? That's much more specific, and therefore there's going to be a lot lower book reach for that long tail keyword compared to that coloring book for boys short tail. But obviously with that, because there's more competition, it's much harder to rank. So it's all about having that trade-off between a long tail keyword and a short tail keyword. And that moves me on to the third section where it comes to entering keywords. So where to place your keywords and optimize your listing for SEO success. So we're going to go back to this graph here. And in my opinion, a good keyword strategy should therefore require a mix of both long tail keywords and short tail keywords. Because essentially, if you're using long tail keywords, these are keywords that you're going to rank really well for. So you're going to want to have a couple of those in both your title, subtitle, and also your keyword boxes. But you are also going to want to make sure your book has that really good reach to loads of different customers. So having a balance between long tail and short tail keywords is really, really important. And with that in mind, there are 3 other general rules I want you to remember, or you don't necessarily have to apply them, but these are the rules that I use and I found a lot of value in them. So first of all, title priority. In my opinion, your best performing long tail keywords should be put in your title and subtitle. So if you cast your minds back to earlier in this video, where I described what a good keyword is, those are the ones that have pretty good search demand and pretty low competition. They are your best keywords, and that's why you should be putting them in your title and your subtitle, because your SEO pull is actually strongest in your title and subtitle. So make sure you're prioritizing that. Secondly, and the point I made in the previous slide, it's all about balance. Your 7 backend keyword boxes should therefore be populated with both short and long tail keywords. If your title and subtitle is taking care of the best keywords that you've got in there, make sure you're filling out those 7 keyword boxes to balance that out with both short and long tail keywords. And then finally, a really important point, and I preach this all the time on Twitter, YouTube, or whatever kind of a platform it is, do not stuff your titles with keywords. So keyword stuffing is a really bad thing to do on KDP. You might just assume, oh, it's great, loads of keywords in my title, I mean, it's going to rank really well. It's just not the way it is. It's not good for the algorithm, and it also looks super unprofessional for a customer buying it. When you see a book that is just keyword stuffed its title, it's so obvious, and it really puts the buyer off. So maybe limit it to, in your title, maybe 1 main keyword, and your subtitle, maybe 2 or 3 others. No more than that realistically, because it then starts to look unprofessional and it shows exactly what you're trying to do. So that's, in a nutshell, an introduction to Amazon KDP keywords, what they are, where you can use them, why they're important. So in this next section, I'm going to jump onto another piece of software and show you exactly where you can find your keywords and what the metrics look like during this research. I'm going to go over there now and I will see you in just a sec. So we're back, and this is the website we're going to be using for our free keyword research. Again, I've showed this website previously in another video. I'm going to actually walk you through how I would use this for this specific example. So we're going to be using the reverse acing tool, and what you do is we're going to basically pretend I've made a cat coloring book for kids and show you what I would do if I was to make this book and how I would use this software for it. Essentially, all we're going to do is type in cat coloring book into Amazon and then find the books that are performing really well. So for example, ones with good BSR. So 20,000, that's a relevant book with a good BSR. We have 18,000, that's another one. So we're going to go through and copy these acings and just drop them into this reverse acing search. As you can see, you can have up to 4 acings. So we're just going to press search on this one, and and then also go back through and find some other acings to use. So this one we said was going to be a good one, so we're going to use that. So what you're going to do then is don't worry too much about the keywords here. Just go to this compare box and then just put all the other competitor acings that you want to add in. So you can, like I said, you can do up to 4 acings if you want to. So let's just find as many relevant books as we can. So Cute Cats, 41,000 BSR, that's a good selling book. Stick this one in. And what this is basically doing is going to show us all of the keywords that our competitors are ranking for, so we can use them to get our book ranking really well ourselves, and also add in some unique ones for that. So let's go in and just drop these 4 in. So just press compare now. And what it's going to do is going to look at all 4 of these books and show a load of keywords that they're ranking for and show which ones are ranking for specific keywords. So what you're going to do here, jump into here, and how many results have we got? So we've got 1,299 keywords coming back from that, which is absolutely insane. And you can see the keyword here, how relevant they are, their search volume. This is a little bit inaccurate in my opinion in terms of seller app, but that's kind of why it's a free piece of software. It's not as good as other products such as Helium 10 or Publisher Rocket, but that's kind of the trade-off you pay when it's a piece of free software. But you can see the keywords that they're using and also each acing that we've just put in and if they are using that themselves. So for this example, mandala coloring pages is only being used by this acing here, which again is not really that relevant to the book, so I'm not sure why they put that one in there. But what you can do then now is go to this search volume and just filter it by the number of searches. So obviously we want the highest in demand keywords possible, and go through all of these and basically just look at all the relevant keywords. So Candy Kittens, for example, is, as far as I'm aware, a brand of sweet, so that's not actually related to our book. All the keywords that are related to our books with high search volume. And again, you can kind of get a rough idea of how many books are using it by these kind of 4 books that we're using as kind of a small data set. So go through all of these and look for relevant keywords and then just add them to a kind of a Google Doc slide. You're going to have loads of different keywords there based on this data that you can use, and basically just keywords that we know are proven to be successful because a lot of these books are using them. So go through all of these. Obviously the higher search volume the better, but one thing you also want to make sure is once you've got a load of these different keywords in your kind of Google Docs file, you want to also make sure that not only do they have high search volume, but they also have relatively low competition. So unfortunately this app doesn't really show you the competitive level. We get a rough idea of seeing how many of these books are using it. But one thing I would do is for each keyword, let's just say for example, cat grass for indoor cats. Let's just say that was relevant to our book. Obviously it's not related to a cat coloring book, but this is just an example. What I would go into here, I just go into Amazon now and just put this in as a search term, slash that up and see how many results. So you can see 341 results. So that's not many results at all. So anything under kind of 4,000 is a good keyword to use in terms of having low competition. So every single keyword that you get from this kind of reverse acing, if it has a good search volume, then go back through into this section here and basically find out how competitive it is. Now, obviously, if it's low competition but high demand, then that's going to be a really good keyword research. A keyword to use from your keyword research. So that is Seller App and how I would use it for keyword research software. If you want me to go into a lot more detail about specifically step by step my whole process of using this software, then I will release a video on that. Let me know down in the comments below if you want to see that, and I'll jump back into the slides to finish off the video. So now we know where you can find your keywords. I just want to summarize everything that we've covered in this video now. So first of all, keyword basics. The whole goal of keyword research is to find keywords that increase your book discovery. Long and short tail keywords, you definitely need to be utilizing both long tail and short tail keywords in your keyword research because you have that balance between ranking and also book reach. Thirdly, in terms of entering your keywords, keyword placement is also really, really important. You have to have a balance of long and short tail keywords, and really importantly, prioritize your title for your best performing long tail keywords. And then finally, finding keywords to Seller App is a great place to find keywords completely free for your keyword research. So that's everything that you need to know as a beginner for keyword research. I hope you did enjoy this video. If you did, then please do leave a like and also subscribe for more KDP content. And if you want to check out both of my Amazon KDP courses, I will leave a link to those both down in the description below, and I will see you in the next one.